Hi, I'm Lucy Lacanienta, Research Assistant for the Book of Mormon Art Catalog, and today I'm here with Dr. Timothy Farrant. Timothy Farrant is a postdoctoral fellow in religion at the Neal A. Maxwell Institute for Religious Studies, and he has developed his research interests and studies in medieval cultural history, theology, and pastoral studies. Our artwork today is a drawing by Caleb Williams, a contemporary artist, entitled "The Angel Appears to Alma the Younger and the Sons of Mosiah." This piece is ink on paper, produced in 2019, and we'll pair it with Mosiah chapters 25 through 28 today. So first off, can you talk to us about how this artwork interprets the scriptures that it's based on?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
I'm not an expert in Latter-day Saint art by any stretch, but I've really enjoyed sort of interacting and thinking about this particular piece of artwork. And I think, for me, it interprets the art in sort of or there's an interpretation of the art which is just a traditional reading of the scripture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the sons of Mosiah and Alma the Younger are going about seeking to destroy the church, and the relationships that they have with other sort of church members are fractured and sort of in tension, and then this is their road to Damascus experience. And so as they're travelling one day, a messenger of the Lord appears to them and stops them in their tracks, and they are unable to speak and unable to move, and this becomes a basis of a conversion narrative that features quite prominently, not only in the chapters that follow, but also later in the book of Alma.
Fantastic. So in Mosiah 27:15, we have this verse that, where an angel asks Alma and the sons of Mosiah, "Can you dispute the power of God?" How do we see Williams depicting the power of God in this piece, or how do we see God's power manifested in other ways in the story?
Yeah, that's a great. I think that's a great question. First of all, I'm not much of a critic of art, but I see sort of the use of light, right? Mm-hmm. And this is something that we had a conversation earlier, and you mentioned the sort of striking contrast between this heavenly figure and the very human figures beneath. Yeah. I think it is actually remarkable the way in which Caleb Williams has managed to use ink in order to bring out light on the page, and it's sort of the reverse of what I would have expected from a traditional sort of piece of artwork that's on a canvas, where you're working when the canvas is white, right, and then you're working in order to sort of use colours in an interesting way in order to bring out sort of the brightness of a piece. And then this is starting on sort of this brown canvas, and then trying to lay sort of light on top of what's already there. And I think that's actually quite remarkable. And so in a certain way you have the form of the cross, and then you have the sort of height of the trees compared to sort of the lower foliage surrounding the humans, and then this draws a sort of contrast between these human beings and the heavenly beings, and then is able to convey a sense of power, right? Mm-hmm. But I think for me the piece really speaks, it really communicates the power of God, and really speaks about the surrounding verses of Scripture that maybe aren't depicted here. And I think back actually to Mosiah chapter 18, where these sort of early converts are first introduced into the waters of baptism, and they covenant and commit with one another to always mourn with those that mourn and comfort those that stand in need of comfort. And you have all of these communities, so the people of Nephi and the people of Zarahemla and the sort of preceding chapters running up to this, actually embodying this love in a remarkable way, in the way that they interact with one another. And then the sons of Mosiah and Alma the Younger, I see sort of disrupt this, right? They cause tension and fracture within the community, and yet what happens after the conversion is that they begin to beautifully embody this. And so I see that the way that they interact and relate with humans before the episode, and then the way that they interact and relate with humans after the episode, is what for me beautifully embodies the power and love of God, or the power of God's love sort of manifest in human interactions.
That's beautiful, that sort of miracle of the atonement and the healing that comes through it as someone changes their heart. I think we also see the power of God as the angel tells them that the Lord has heard the prayers of his servant Alma, who is thy father, and we see like the prayers of Alma being answered through this conversion of his son as well. Can you contextualize this artwork within the larger tradition of LDS theology and art, and perhaps what does it teach us about the way that Latter-day Saints believe that those in this world and that of the divine can interact?
Oh, that's a big question, and it's a fantastic question. So the first thing that I found quite striking was the fact that this particular piece of art was sketched on like this notepad, and you see sort of the binding like on the side, and the sort of the quality and texture of the paper, right? And I immediately started thinking about Letter Book 1, which was sort of produced in 1832, and it's Joseph Smith's first attempt to try and capture the first vision narrative. Okay. And in Letter Book 1, Joseph Smith says that his initial desire in sort of pouring his heart out to God was to try and find some sort of mercy. He feels convicted by his the way that he lives his life, and sort of his own personal sins, and he wants to find redemption from that. And this, I think, is a beautiful way of capturing the sense in which Latter-day Saints try to relate to God or to relate to the other world, right? So we carry around our personal journals, right? We're reading scriptures, we're reflecting on maybe interactions that we've had with others and also with God. And I think that this is a beautiful way of trying to capture that moment, right? To try and capture it. And so there's something really personal about it. And I think that speaks volumes to the way that Latter-day Saints not only conceive of themselves, but also the way that they journey with God in their personal lives, and this sense of wanting to begin anew, right, and recording this for sort of individual purposes.
That's beautiful. Thanks. Can you share your personal reaction to this art piece and to the scriptures we've talked about today?
So I think a lot about what it means to live a Christian life, right? And so all of the texts that I read are written by devout individuals, right, that want to embody a sense of Christianity in the world as they interact with others. And I think that for me personally, this artwork is just a string of many human attempts to try and etch on paper with ink what it might mean to be Christian, what it might mean to have a transformative experience, what it might mean to relate rightly with others in the world, and what it might mean for God to intervene in the very sort of intricacies of our human lives. And for that reason, I think that this piece of artwork by Caleb Williams has sort of opened my eyes to sort of possibilities in Latter-day Saint art, and sparked my interest in wanting to explore not only the Book of Mormon art catalogue in greater depth, but also the curious work that Latter-day Saint artists continue to sort of create.